I want to talk about a small moment, but that recurs over a couple chapters, or a small set of moments in The Return of the King that illustrates Tolkien's approach to the trauma of war, the trauma of combat, including for people who win. So in Book 5, Chapter 6, Mary, aka Meriadoc, and Eowyn combine to take out the Lord of the Nazgul, the Black Rider, the Witch King of Angmar, what have you. On some levels, Tolkien is doing one of the things he does best, which is remix things from much older stories. There is a clear Macbeth reference here. There's a that Macbeth reference is like, of course, there's this prophecy: no man of woman born will kill you. Fine, the Witch King has a similar prophecy, and as dictated by folklore tradition, he hasn't quite got it. He hasn't parsed all the technicalities through, and that's so much for him. There's also, because it's Tolkien, a very clear Beowulf reference. Both Eowyn and Merodach's swords are destroyed when they strike the head Nazgul, just as Frodo's sword had been destroyed um, in book one. This comes from Beowulf's encounter with Grendel's mother, the second of the three monsters he slays, who can only be killed with a magic sword, as the witch, as the Lord of the Nazgul, as it can only be killed with a magic sword, and whose the sword will be destroyed, will be burned up. Um, a couple quick moments here. The aftermath. Usually, when you kill a big bad in a cheaper fantasy novel, everybody cheers. But Mary is going to pay the price. I want to turn it into the Battle of Pelennor Fields. First, we have First, we have a couple moments on page 824 in this edition. And there stood Meriadoc the Hobbit in the midst of the slain, blinking like an owl in the daylight, for tears blinded him. And through a mist, he looked at Eowyn's fair head as she lay and did not move, and he looked in the face of the king, fall in the midst of his glory. For Snowman, his agony had rolled away from him again. It was the bane of his master. So we meet Mary. Instead of winning, he's there stunned. He's blinking out. He's isolated. Everyone is ignoring him, and this is going to continue. A couple pages later, we move to a next. There's a section break, and still Meriadoc the Hobbit stood there blinking through his tears, and no one spoke to him. Indeed, none seemed to heed him. He brushed away the tears and stooped to pick up the green shield that Eowyn had given him, and he slung it at his back. Then he looked for his sword that he had let fall, for even as he struck his blow, his arm was numbed, and now he could only use his left hand. And behold, there lay his weapon, but the blade was smoking like a dry branch that has been thrust in a fire, and as he watched it, it writhed and withered and was consumed. And we get a paragraph about why the blade worked, how happy, how happy these original Smiths would be that it took out the Lord of the Nazgul, whom they personally hated, and why it's gone. Okay, great. That's the big Beowulf reference. But also, okay, his arm is numb. That's part of the magic of the story. And he's standing there stunned, isolated, that the experience of combat, even winning, isolates him from others. He can't connect with other people. They can't explain what has happened. He won't be understood. We skip an entire chapter and more. We back in Mary's point of view at the beginning of chapter 8, the Houses of Healing, page 840, but also in your edition, first paragraph of chapter 8, book 5. A mist was in Mary's eyes of tears and weariness when they drew near the ruined gate of Minas Tirith. He gave little heed to the wreck and slaughter that lay about all. Fire and smoke and stench was in the air, for many engines had been burned or cast in the fire pits, and many of the slain also, while here and there lay many carcasses of the great southern monsters, half burned or broken by stone cast, or shot through the eyes by the valiant archers of Morthond. The flying rain had ceased for a time, and the sun gleamed up above, but all the lower city was still wrapped in a smoldering reek. Um, there are two paragraphs about how Theoden, dead Theoden and comatose Eowyn are brought up in glory. Um, so Theoden and Eowyn came to the city of Gondor, and all who saw them bared their heads and bowed, and they passed through the ash and fume of the burned circle, and went on and up along the streets of stone. To Merry The ascent seemed age-long, a meaningless journey in a hateful dream, going on to some dim ending that memory cannot seize. Slowly the lights of the torches in front of him flickered and went out, and he was walking in a darkness, and he thought, "This is a tunnel leading to a tomb. There we will stay forever." But suddenly into his dream fell a loving voice. "Well, Mary, thank goodness I have found you." He looked up, and the mist before his eyes cleared a little. There was Pippin. They were face to face in a narrow lane, and but for themselves it was empty. He rubbed his eyes. "Where's the king?" he said. "And anyone?" Then he stumbled and sat down on a doorstep and began to weep again. "They've gone up to the citadel," Pippin said. "I think you must have fallen asleep on your feet and taken the wrong turning. When we found that you were not with them, Gandalf had sent me to look for you. Poor old Mary, how glad I am to see you again. But you are worn out, or it won't bother you to talk. Tell me, are you hurt or wounded?" "No," said Mary. "Well, no, I don't think so. But, uh, but I can't use my right arm. Pippin, not since I stabbed him. And my sword burned all away like a piece of wood." And Pippin goes to take him. Pippin's face was anxious. "Well, you'd better come with me as quick as you can," he said. I wish I could carry you. You aren't fit to walk any further. They shouldn't have let you walk at all, but you must forgive them. So many dreadful things have happened in the city, Mary, that one poor hobbit coming in from battle is easily overlooked." "It's not always a misfortune being overlooked," said Mary. "I was overlooked just now by... No, no, I can't speak of it. Help me, Pippin. It's all going dark again, and my arm is so cold." "Lean on me, Mary lad," said Pippin. "Come on now, foot by foot. It's not far." "Are you going to bury me?" said Mary. "No, indeed," said Pippin, trying to sound cheerful, though his heart was wrung with fear and pity. "No, we're going to the houses of healing." "Okay. Show Meriadoc Brandybuck what he's won. He's won pain, fear. He can't even, he is incapable. He is too stunned. He is too shell shocked. The phrase for post traumatic stress disorder in Tolkien's military generation in World War One, where this symptom was first identified on a wide scale, was shell shock. Tolkien is very aware of it. This is someone who's won the battle. He's stunned. He can't see. He can't follow along. He has this nightmare vision. He thinks, "Are you coming to put? Am I going to be buried? Am I going to be in a tomb?" He is isolated from the living world and other living creatures. That dealing death is traumatic too. This doesn't get into the movies. This doesn't fit our sense of heroic adventure. We have to, as Laguna phrased it, expand our spirit to accept an adventure story where this is part of the cost.